Well, hey guys, it's MIKEFESTIVA here. Welcome back to part 3 of the Mini Pinzgauer 6x6 off-road vehicle build. In this video today we get a lot done. We actually get the engine fully installed, build some cool accessories for the engine, and as you can see, start framing out the front cab. So stick around and enjoy the video, guys. Alright, here's a 30-second recap of part 2 in case you guys missed that. Bent a bunch of tubing for the frame to restructure it, ordered a bunch of parts like struts, wheel bearings, CV joint boots, and rebuilt the whole front end, and bought some wheel spacers, some new calipers, cut out some components to actually mount up the rack and pinion up front because of course we're going from handlebars to rack and pinion. And that about wraps us up for part 2, so enjoy part 3, guys. So I just put this 420cc Duramax engine on the running board of the quad here. I'm kind of blown away the size difference. This engine is enormous. It's going to be a challenge to fit in that frame. I think there's going to be some serious mods. We're butchering the hell out of this thing anyways. It shouldn't really be that big of a thing, but it doesn't look like put a simple engine plate in there and you're off and running. It looks like it's going to be really tight. There, it looks a little more difficult than I first thought it was going to be, but we got to start off with an engine plate. So I got one drawn up here. It's slotted, so we should be able to adjust it to get a little bit of belt tension with it. Let's cut that out next. So next I need to actually try to adapt this primary clutch from the Polaris engine to that 420cc engine. The drawback is this is a tapered shaft it's all set up for, and of course the 420 is a 1-inch straight shaft. Got digging around the internet and I found this little shim. It's basically a tapered shim that adapts this to that engine. What I need to figure out now is that 420cc engine runs a fine thread 3/8, and that Polaris engine, this is the original bolt that held the clutch on, is a fine thread 7/16. So I'm going to turn it down on the lathe down to 3/8 and run a die over it and rethread it. Should be able to get this clutch bolted on next. You might wonder what this other pulley's doing back here. We'll get to that later. When I get finished with this thing, it's going to have more gold chains than Mr. T. I think you'd be stoked on it. pretty cool. Bet you're interested in what this bracket's for. Just gonna have to wait a moment longer here. Pretty nice cuts with that CNC. Especially for cutting stuff like this. Alright, got the engine plate all finished, all the welds, and I got it painted up. Figured while I'm in here it's going to be easier. I can definitely get to this plug later, but it's easier to change the transmission fluid now, the engine out, and I've never done it on this machine, so I don't know the condition of it. Ooh, well, it's got oil in there. It's up to the high point of the dipstick, but it's looking awfully milky. We'll drain this out and hopefully, it always worked fine, so it's probably good, but it'd be good to get some fresh stuff in there. So here's the oil that came out of it. Not the best looking. Be nice to freshen it up. Remember that part from earlier? Here's what it's for. Alright, we got the alternator on, the belt. We're going to work on installing the clutch next, and then we're going to jump up front to actually start cutting some gussets for the front struts and start working out the framework for the floorboards for the cab. Let's get to that next. Yeah, I think something like that should work out pretty well. Should be a nice little seating area. So I'm getting ready to do some bracing down here, and I just want to point out the quality of this Polaris. First off, we got some really nice welds here, and see this location right here for mud and water and just things get up in the frame. I can fit my finger into this hole right here. This side, basically there's a 1/16 of an inch gap. This whole bar shifted over. Just great quality on this Polaris. So I'm working with some super cheap 16th inch wall tubing just to mock this up. I'm going to actually replace it with 3/16 through here. But I got a few pictures printed out. Keep in mind, I've never seen one of these Pinzgauers in real life before, so I'm just working off of photos. And like I said, I'm going to try my best to kind of keep it to the characteristics of one without dorking out too much on too many details. One of our biggest things is this thing is designed for a full-size person, and of course the vehicle we're working at, it's just a quad. So there's going to be some scales in the cab to actually get your head inside, because I want to have a roof on it. We're in the Northwest, we get a lot of rain, so I want to be able to actually get inside the thing and stay out of the rain. The proportions are going to be a little off. I'm trying my best to work around that. This tube is cut a little long. We're going to cut it off right about here. I'm going to pull this off of here now and actually cut all the parts and pieces. I worked out all the angles and degrees I had to work on here, and I'm going to mock up 2 of these sections. One for this side, one for that side. We'll get welding on. We can start building the rest of the frame from there. Alright you guys, I'm getting ready to use the Rogue Fat Bender, and I haven't used it that much so far since I had it, but there's a few things I thought I could improve upon, and one is clamp block offset. I got a 3.5 inch radius die in here. This is a clamp block. You got to clamp this onto your tubing, and basically from where the end of the clamp block is, 6.25 inches in is where your bend's going to start. I want to shorten that up in case I had more complex bends and want to start another one closer. So basically I cut these on my CNC table and designed them. These are clamp block offsets, and they basically make it so when your clamp goes here and 4.25 inches in, your bend will start. So you save yourself 2 inches, and you might find in a certain application that it might be helpful to have a shorter bend before another one. So now I'm working on actually trying to mock up the front section where the grille and the headlights go. I'm working with some tubing here, and I'm doing a bunch of notching. I haven't had to do much notching and tubing. I want to point out something cool. So I made this piece that goes through here. All the angles I want on here correct. I'm getting ready to weld it on, but really I got to transfer all this to this other side. So basically what I did was, once I fit this piece of tubing, I wrapped it up with some paper and some tape and put some aluminized tape to give it a little more backbone on it. And basically, I got a perfect template here that I can slide on a new piece of tubing and trace all the notches. Alright you guys, I'm pretty excited how this build's coming along. Unfortunately, the video is getting kind of long, so we're going to have to cut it off here. But by the next video, it really should start taking form on the front end and start actually be able to see this vehicle come to life here. One thing I want to point out though, there's some super helpful tools I've always used in most of my builds, but I want to mention it again. I'll put links below if I can find them in Amazon. One is a magnetic level. This is so useful for things. I would highly recommend one. And another thing is the digital angle finder for finding angles and matching them, because of course this part had to be mirrored to the other side. Another is magnetic clamps or magnetic holds. They work really well for holding tubing and parts until you're ready to start tack welding. And this little part right here, basically making these paper tubes that go over your part. Basically this tube I had to copy and transfer that size, same as this lower. I had to mirror it. So the nice thing was I was able to make a copy of this, cut it in half, rotate it, match it over here, match it to the exact angle, tape it, and transfer that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Take care. Bye.